very good afternoon to you. This is Lunchtime News live on MTV Sports. I'm Shahid Rampati. These are our headlines. Low depression reported in the southeastern seas in the Bay of Bengal likely to develop into a storm. Jailers attached to the Valley Cutter, Colombo and Magazine prison step away from work in a mark of protest. Karnataka High Court takes up the bail plea for former Tamil Nadu Chief Minister Jayalalitha Jairam. Here are the stories in detail. Jailers attached to the Valley Cutter, Colombo Remand and Magazine prisons have stepped away from work in a mark of protest. Commissioner General of Prisons Chandaratna Palligama, speaking in Newsfirst, said that this has resulted in the delay of transporting inmates to courts. The jailers say that they are engaged in the protest, citing several reasons, including the suspension of arbitrary transfers. The jailers add that they will refrain from work today, including the transporting of inmates to courts. A special discussion is currently underway between the Commissioner General of Prisons and the Minister of Prison Reforms and Rehabilitation, Chandasuri Gajadira. A felicitation ceremony for primary school teachers was held in Kandy yesterday under the auspices of Minister of Higher Education S.B. Dissanayake. At the ceremony, the minister expressed the following views. We as Sri Lankans should have higher regard for the country from what we used to. Today we have increased the wages of university lecturers by 100%. From the gates of the universities, we have begun establishing it as a single educational institute. Today there are 51 institutes functioning in the country that present foreign diplomas. The picture I am going to draw in your mind is a map of Sri Lanka. We need to draw Sri Lanka in a bigger way because we have an ocean area 8 times the size of Sri Lanka. Therefore, in the future, our children will not have to milk buffaloes, cows or even goats. Instead, they can tame a whale, so you could milk 10 barrels off that whale. We need to see a Sri Lanka where the children of the country will be taken to such a position. Minister of Investment Promotion Lakshman Vardhana says that it is the politicians and the people of this country who are destroying sites that are of historical value to the country. The minister made this statement at a function held in Mathura yesterday.
Minister Lakshman Vardhana laid the foundation stone at the site in Panakado, Mathura yesterday to erect a statue where the historic copper scroll were discovered.
2.5 million tourists visit Malaysia per year. But if you take a look at the history of Malaysia, they have a very short history. But they have learned to earn a massive revenue by advertising this short history to tourists. But it is disappointing to see how the world has noticed how neglectful we are in protecting our history and sites of historical value which date back as far to the royal generations. Such sites are being destroyed, and it is being done by every sector. And in some places they are being destroyed by the general public. There are also foreign forces who are involved in this. When all this is put together, we are faced with a new battle to safeguard all of these treasures.
Minister of Youth Affairs and Skills Development Dallas Allahaperma says that there are no political policies in the country that have not stabilized Sri Lanka. The minister made this comment at an event held in the auditorium of the Ministry of Youth Affairs and Skills Development.
The event was held to present appointment letters for administrative officers who were employed for various institutes which belong to universities. Deputy Minister of Education Mohan Lal Grero was present for this occasion.
There were allegations if this country, which is an island, will become an island state politically. There were allegations and there were criticism. Today it is clearly evident that this is not so. Several foreign leaders came to this country, African leaders and the President of Seychelles. Even the Ugandan President visited the German tech. None of you should have any doubt in government policies. This country is not built on policies that create instability as the government changes. Chairman of the Lanka Private Bus Owners Association, speaking at a press conference in Colombo yesterday, said that they are prepared to go in for a strike action.
We held a discussion with the Minister of Passenger Transport of the Western Province over the method of issuing tenders. Amila Ranmadal of the Western Province Road Passenger Transport Authority has issued over 200 road permits in an arbitrary manner without the consent of the Minister. We request that this wrong method be abolished and formulate a proper procedure. If they continue with this process, we will go in for a strike action in protest of the issuing of over 200 permits in an arbitrary manner by the chairman of the Road Passenger Transport Authority of the Western Province.
Accidents were reported from several areas across the country over the past 24 hours, where 2 people were killed and 15 sustained injuries. One person was killed in a motor accident which took place on the Gaul Alpitia main road in the Kirimati area when a bus collided onto a motorbike. The victim, the motorcyclist, has been identified as 25-year-old Supun Tushara, a resident of the Karamdeni area. The driver of the bus has been arrested in connection to the accident. One person was killed in a motor accident which took place in the Kirimati area along the Balangoda Kalturu roads. The deceased was identified as an 18-year-old youth and a resident of the Balangoda area. The accident was a result of a head-on collision involving a lorry and a motorbike. Meanwhile, a tipper truck which was travelling from Alugola to Badulla veered off the road in the Dambagahapiti area. The driver of the truck sustained injuries and is currently receiving treatment in the Badulla General Hospital. An individual was injured in the Hangurankata area when a lorry collided onto a bicycle. Our correspondent stated that the injured cyclist is currently receiving treatment in the Hangurankata Divisional Hospital. 13 persons were injured when a private bus travelling along the Ratnapura Badulla main road was hit by another bus in the Kauduveva area. Our correspondent stated that the injured were admitted to the Kahawata Base Hospital. One person who was in a critical condition was later transferred to the Ratnapura General Hospital for further treatment. Back on to one of our local news, the Department of Meteorology says that the low depression reported in the southeastern seas in the Bay of Bengal is likely to develop into a storm within the next 2 days. The director of the department, S.R. Jayasekara, speaking to Newsfirst, said that fishermen are strongly advised not to set out to sea. Meanwhile, a group of Sri Lankan fishermen who had set out to sea from the southern coast and requested permission to enter Myanmar waters are yet to receive permission. Nadun Taraka, who communicated with the fishermen from Dikwala via satellite telephone, said that around 180 fishermen who had set out to sea in 31 vessels are stranded, and it has been requested to allow them to enter into Myanmar waters.
ඉස්ටකට දාන්න එක තමයි කොහොම හරි කියන්නේ ඉදිරියට. ඔව් අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම අහුවෙනවා ඉදිරියට.
Meanwhile, 3 fishing vessels have been seized by Myanmar authorities for entering their waters. 2 of the remaining vessels stranded at sea have received permission to enter into Myanmar waters.
යාත්‍රා දෙකකට පමණක් අපරාජ්‍ය බුරුම රාජ්‍ය සමග සාකච්ඡා කොට අවසර ලබා දී තිබෙනවා බුරුම මුහුදු සීමාවට ගොස් තමන්ගේ
Discussions held between our government and the Myanmar government has resulted in only 2 vessels being given permission to enter their sea area. Skipper of the Sanjanadua 2 vessel has informed us that legal permission has been provided for them to enter Myanmar waters and ensure their safety. It has also been reported that 2 other vessels have been given permission to enter their territory. What we ask is that the government and the authorities to look into this issue and save the lives of all the fishermen, and not only the lives of those in the 2 vessels that have received permission.
33ක් අතරින් බෝටු දෙකක් විතරක් නොව සියලුම මිනිසුන්ගේ ජීවිත බේරා ගැනීම සඳහා යම් කිසි සහයෝගයක් රජයේ හෝ මේට අදාළ බලධාරීන් විසින් මේ ගැන සොයා බලා දැනට අනිත් බෝටු 33 දීවරයන් සඳහාද යම් කිසි සහනයක් බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා.
When Newsfirst contacted the Sri Lankan embassy in Myanmar, the ambassador H.R. Pearcity said that a group of Sri Lankan fishermen along with 3 vessels have been arrested by the Myanmar Coast Guard. He added that the embassy is working to ascertain more details on the fishermen. He went on to say that there are around 17 Sri Lankan fishermen aboard those vessels. Meanwhile, Secretary to the Ministry of Fisheries Dr. D.M.R.P. Dissanayake said that by the Ministry of External Affairs, the government of Myanmar has been notified to look into the matter.
ඇත්තටම අපි තාම නිර්ණයක් කරන්න බෑ මේ අය කොමන විදිහේ දීවර කර්මාන්ත ගෙදුනද කියලා හේතුව මේ
It is difficult to say right now as to what form of fishing they were engaged in. A typhoon-like situation was reported from that area. We have not reached a conclusion as to whether they were drifted towards Myanmar by the storm or were they engaged in illegal fishing in that sea area. We have informed the Myanmar authorities to look into this through the Ministry of External Affairs. What is dangerous is that the inclement weather in that area is developing. We have instructed all those in the areas that are affected to take precautionary measures when returning back because the meteorology sources have reported that the inclement weather can get worse.
And that's a wrap of Lunchtime News. Thank you very much for watching. I am Shanjay Rampati. Goodbye and take care.
Hotline 0114-896-896. www.newsfirst.lk. Feedback at newsfirst.lk.